Thank you. Strikeforce, Fabertor, Coonage and EOS have been some complex, protracted investigations over the last 18 months, targeting a number of organised crime groups working collaboratively to attempt to import over $300 million worth of prohibited drugs into New South Wales. Yesterday, during the resolution phase of that investigation, police from the New South Wales Police Force and the AFP executed 16 search warrants around Sydney. During those search warrants, 6 people were arrested and charged with offences attempting to import those drugs or actually importing drugs into Australia. During the search warrants, police located further items being further prohibited drugs, approximately $2.5 million in cash, cryptocurrency, gold bullions, firearms and ammunition. Whilst this was all occurring around Sydney yesterday morning, Homeland Security executed search warrants in Los Angeles, where another person was arrested and charged with these offences. And during that search warrant, they located a further 205 kilograms of prohibited drugs, which, if they reached the streets of Sydney, would have been worth in excess of $50 or $60 million. I think what this has shown is that organised crime groups do want to try and work collaboratively to avoid law enforcement detection, but conclusively what it has shown with the law enforcement and the intelligence agencies yesterday being the New South Wales Police, the AFP, Border Force, the ACIC and the New South Wales Crime Commission working collaboratively with our partner agencies overseas through our partners at the AFP. We not only identify these organised crimes doing this, but we infiltrate them as we did, and we dismantle them as we did yesterday.
Are you finding with the arrests overseas, are they dual citizens, Australians, United States nationals?
No, the person arrested overseas yesterday is not an Australian citizen.
Is there an indication that the drugs were coming from the Americas of some sort? That's what that means, right?
Oh, look, with this investigation, there was numerous amounts of drugs that were attempted to be imported, and it was across multiple countries, multiple continents. But as I said, working collaboratively with the law enforcement agencies through our AFP partners, with those law enforcement agencies, we're able to identify these people and disrupt them and dismantle them.
So from the Australian context, is it just, in terms of this arrest, is it just one crime network that are dealing with overseas?
No. What it has shown is that organised crime groups are definitely trying to work collaboratively to avoid law enforcement. But as I said, what it has shown as well is us working with all our partner agencies, not only in New South Wales and Australia, but around the world. We will identify these people and we'll dismantle their syndicates.
Is that a new trend, that different crime groups are suddenly coming together, or they've been doing that for years?
Oh, look, I think it's become more prevalent in later times, and it probably has occurred. Historically, they have operated in silo, but I think it is becoming more common that they see themselves, if they work collaboratively, they can probably be more successful. But as our investigation shown, this joint strike force showed that law enforcement and intelligence agencies also working collaboratively will dismantle these syndicates.
So how many crime networks were involved yesterday on the Australian side?
Yeah, look, there was multiple. I can't go into the specific details about those organised crime networks because there are ongoing aspects to this investigations where we are working with our partner law enforcement agencies overseas through the Australian Federal Police, and there are people who are actually overseas at the moment who we believe are involved in these offences, and we look forward to speaking to them whether or not they choose to stay in those countries or if they choose to come back here to Australia. Strike Force investigators will be speaking with them.
Can you name any other countries involved other than America and Germany?
Look, they're primarily the two major countries, but as I said, there's numerous complexities in this investigation, and it's still ongoing with our partner agencies overseas.
And did you have a delivery driver on this side involved in that, or something like that involved from the freight component?
Oh, look, unfortunately, organised crime groups, they do target people in legitimate industry, and they target them as trusted insiders. It's not specific to one sort of one specific company or trade type. They do try and target these people, but we work very, very closely with these legitimate industry people, and they cooperate with us, as they did in this investigation, which helped us in identifying this person helping these organised crime groups.
Can we ask what the role of the AFP was?
Thank you. So what we've seen is a organised crime syndicate targeting Australia, operating on a global level. So what it's taken to disrupt that organised crime syndicate is an international effort by law enforcement. When Operation Phobita commenced 12 months ago, it was specifically set up to target organised crime networks operating in and impacting the state of New South Wales. It combines the efforts, the resources, the capabilities of the Australian Federal Police, New South Wales Police and the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission. So our role, we have been, the Australian Federal Police have been working and living in overseas in these jurisdictions for almost 50 years. We have built relationships and partnerships with foreign law enforcement in those jurisdictions, and that is what has played out today, and that's what has been able to deliver results, not just here in New South Wales, but we've been able to disrupt these syndicates in the countries in their overseas operations.
So with the Department of Homeland Security in the US, was that something they triggered this investigation? They tipped you off, or did it work the other way around?
It actually worked the other way around. So through New South Wales Police and the AFP, we discovered the intelligence and we provided that to Homeland Security.
Can you tell us how the drugs being machinery or the other?
So this syndicate was using lots of different methods to conceal the drugs, and that's what we find. They don't just stick to one method or one way of importing drugs into Australia. They're multifaceted and multitasking all the time. They use a number of different ways to conceal the drugs.
So the overall figure, I think, was $300 million. Is that preventing how much drugs is coming to the country?
That's the...
You mentioned $300 million.
Yes. So that's in relation to the seizures through the Joint Strike Force. Is the value of drugs was over $300 million.
What's been seized, or what you prevent?
What's been seized?
So that's the inclusion of the shipment from LA and the goods that were already in Australia from Germany.
Correct.
And you're aware of Australian nationals. Is it fair to say that you're aware of Australian nationals working overseas to be bringing in or helping bring in drugs to Australia?
Yeah, look, unfortunately, there are Australian citizens who do move offshore, and they may think that they're untouchable by doing that, but I think, yet again, this investigation has shown that they're not. Yet again, we're continuing to work with our fellow law enforcement agencies around the world in conjunction with the AFP and through their networks, and we're targeting these people, and this investigation is still ongoing with people that are around the world.
And how are you targeting them? Is it just the focus on seizing the shipments? Are you working on extradition?
Oh, look, I mean, there's all sort of different aspects to how we target these people, and this is one message. We want to make sure that we're not sticking to the norm in the way we investigate these serious crimes. We're thinking of ways outside of the box and new ways to investigate these crime types and these organised crime networks. So there's multiple facets to how we target and investigate these people.
One more question, just in terms of the Bankstown arrest, the dramatic arrest, can you just give us a little bit more insight into what happened there?
Yeah, look, Bankstown arrest was the culmination of the sort of the investigation, which led into the resolution phase and all the search warrants and the people being arrested and charged yesterday. And there was 2 people stopped in a vehicle, one of which has been since arrested and charged in relation to his involvement in some prohibited drugs which were destined from Germany. And the other person, there's further inquiries ongoing in relation to the other person.
Just on that, why did police issue that?
Sorry?
Just in terms of the Bankstown arrest, why did police issue that?
Oh, look, I can't comment on the tactical aspect to the arrest phase and the investigation. That's something that's done by a tactical police, so unfortunately I can't comment on that.
Are you any closer to making more arrests?
Oh, look, there's, as I said, the investigation's ongoing and we're hoping to be making more arrests, definitely. But just not on this organised crime networks, but on multiple organised crime networks, which we're targeting, as I said, in conjunction and jointly with the AFP and the law enforcement agencies around the world.
Great, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
No, you're all right.